Old people are just young people with stories. Mr. Haroun was 60. Not ancient, but old enough to feel the weight of years pressing down on his shoulders like wet sand. His knees ached. His back creaked. But it wasn't his body that felt broken, it was his spirit. He lived alone in a small, dusty house at the end of Al Noor Street. The neighbors called him the Quiet One. Children whispered stories about him. He never smiles. He hates people. He talks to his plants. None of it was entirely false. Haroun had once been a teacher. A good one. The kind who stayed after class to help struggling students. Who brought extra sandwiches for the ones who came hungry. But life had a way of eroding goodness. His wife had passed away. His only son had moved abroad and stopped calling. Friends faded. Time grew sharp. So Haroun stopped trying. He stopped waving at neighbors. Stopped answering the door. Stopped believing people were worth the trouble. Until one Tuesday afternoon. It was a hot day. The kind of heat that made the pavement shimmer like water. Haroun was walking back from the pharmacy. His cane tapping rhythmically against the ground. His bag was heavy. His breath shallow. And then, he stumbled. The world tilted. His cane slipped. The bag fell. Pills scattered across the sidewalk like marbles. He cursed under his breath, trying to bend down, but his knees refused. That's when he heard it. "Let me help you, mister." A small voice. Gentle. Unafraid. Haroun looked up and saw a boy, maybe 8 or 9. Wearing a red backpack and a crooked smile. The boy knelt, gathering the pills carefully. Placing them back in the bag. Brushing dust off the blister packs. "You okay?" the boy asked. Haroun blinked. No one had asked him that in years. "I'm fine," he muttered. But the boy didn't leave. He walked with Haroun all the way to his gate. Carried the bag. Held the cane when Haroun needed both hands to unlock the door. And then, just before leaving, the boy said, "You should smile more. You have kind eyes." Haroun didn't sleep that night. He kept replaying the moment. The boy's voice. His kindness. The way he didn't flinch or hesitate. The way he saw Haroun, not as a burden, but as a person. The next morning, Haroun did something he hadn't done in years. He opened his curtains. Then he sat by the window, waiting. And sure enough, around 3:15 p.m., the boy walked by again. Same red backpack, same crooked smile. Haroun stepped outside. "What's your name?" he asked. "Yusuf," the boy said. "I live 2 streets down. I walk this way to get home." Haroun nodded. "Would you like some juice?" Yusuf's eyes lit up. Days turned into weeks. Yusuf began stopping by every afternoon. Sometimes for juice. Sometimes for stories. Sometimes just to sit in silence. Haroun taught him how to prune roses. How to play chess. How to listen to birds and tell them apart by their songs. Yusuf taught Haroun how to laugh again. He told silly jokes. He asked endless questions. He brought drawings and stories, and once, a paper crown he insisted Haroun wear. "You're the king of kindness," Yusuf declared. Haroun chuckled. "I was never kind. You are now." One day, Yusuf didn't come. Haroun waited. And waited. 3 days passed. Then 5. On the 6th day, a woman knocked on Haroun's door. She was Yusuf's mother. "He's been sick," she explained. "But he talks about you every day. Says you're his best friend." She handed Haroun a folded piece of paper. Inside was a drawing, Yusuf and Haroun sitting under a tree, smiling. Above them, in shaky handwriting. "Mr. Haroun taught me that old people are just young people with stories." Haroun's hands trembled. He sat down, tears slipping silently down his cheeks. Haroun began walking again. Not just to the pharmacy, but to the park. To the library. To the corner store where he hadn't been in years. He started waving at neighbors. Started smiling at children. Started believing again. He even began volunteering at the local school, reading stories to children who sat wide-eyed and eager. And every time someone asked him why the change, why the sudden warmth, he would smile and say, "A boy with a red backpack reminded me that kindness isn't loud. It's quiet. But it echoes." Years later, when Harun passed away peacefully in his sleep, the entire neighborhood came to his funeral. Yusuf, now a teenager, stood beside the grave, holding the same drawing he'd made years ago. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light across the earth, Yusuf whispered, "You were the smallest light in my life. But you lit up everything. You weren't the only one. I was also lost.